Hello everyone. In this video, I will be covering some of the Python interview questions that is asked in a SONY interview recently. All these questions are asked in a first round of an interview. First question is we need to find out the largest among three numbers. So if we have three numbers, we need to find out the largest number. And next question is given as a list of values, we need to find the sum of a squares in list. So we have 1 square, 3 square, 5 square. We need to find out the sum of all these numbers. And next question is, we have given a dictionary of a list given with the values 1A. So we have keys and values. We need to update the dictionary keys. So dictionary keys in the sense 1, 2, 3. In the next dictionary, we have again 1, 2, 3. So we need to update these dictionary keys with a string SONY. So in place of 1, we need to get a SONY. In place of 2, we need to get a SONY. In place of a 3, we need to get SONY and so on. So for all these dictionaries, we need to get a SONY as a dictionary key. If you already know the answer, post your program in the comment box. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and also hit on a bell icon so that you will get the notifications whenever I post a video. So let's see how we can solve this one by one. Let's look into the first program. We have a three numbers, n1 is equal to 10, n2 is equal to 20, and n3 is equal to 15. So we need to write a program to find out the largest number out of three. So out of these three numbers, n2 is equal to 20. That is the largest number we can easily understand. Now we need to write a program for this. There are n number of ways to write a program to find out the largest number. We can also use functions like a maximum to get the largest number. But in this scenario, I'll be using a if condition. By using if condition, I can easily find out which number is the highest one or not. To start with, you'll write if condition. If n1 is greater than with the n2 and n3 or not, we'll be checking that first. So we'll be checking n1 greater than or equal to n2 and also n1 greater than or equal to n3. Okay. So in this scenario, if n1 is a greater value, so we will note down that value here. And similarly, we'll write a else condition to see if n2 is greater than n1 and n3. Okay, so if n2 is greater, we'll take that as a largest value. Or else we'll take a L3 as a largest value. And we'll print it. We'll come outside of if condition, I'll print it. Okay, now if you execute this code, we'll get the largest value, that is a 20. Okay. If you want to add a text, we can also add text here. Now we can see largest number is 20. So in this way, we can find out the first problem. Next, we talk about a second question. Second question is, we have a list of values 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17. We need to find out the sum of squares in the list. So we'll see how we can solve it. We have a list of values available here. We need to find out the sum of square in the given list. There are a lot many ways we can solve this. Maybe I will be using a for loop here. So we'll be using a for loop. We'll loop the 1 by 1 list inside for loop. Okay. So inside for loop, I will be using a variable, maybe a sum. Okay, we'll be adding a sum with the iteration values. So first 1 will come from the list, it will come inside. So 1 square will be happening here. And next 3 will come, 3 square will be happening here. Next 5 will come inside loop, 5 square will happen here. This and so on, all the numbers one by one will come inside. Square will happen here. So to that square, we'll be adding a sum. So by default, we will assign some value as a 0. So for the first time, it will do some 0 plus 1. So next time it will be 1. And next it will be a 3 square 9. 9 plus 1, it will become 10. and so on. Each and every value will come. So it will do a sum of square for each and every number. So once this is done, we'll come outside of a loop and we'll print out the sum. Now see, we'll get a 663 as the answer. Next question we are having is the list of dictionaries. So we need to update the dictionary key with a string Sony. So we'll see how we can solve this one. We have a list of dictionaries available here. We need to update a keys with a string Sony. In place of one, we need to update a Sony. In place of two, we need to update Sony. In place of three, we need to update a Sony. But technically, this is not possible because we should not have a duplicate key names. So if you give Sony here, if you give Sony here, if you give Sony here, so those are duplicate names. So we cannot give a duplicate name as a key. So we can do some workaround here. Maybe we can give here Sony 1, Sony 2, Sony 3. In such a way, we can do that. So we'll just concat Sony with a 1, concat Sony with a 2, concat Sony with 3, and so on for remaining dictionaries also. We can do the same thing. So let's see how we can solve this. First of all, I will loop the dictionary. Okay. So one by one dictionary will come inside. First, this dictionary will come inside. Next, this dictionary will come inside. Next, this dictionary and so on. So 4 iterations will happen here for this particular dictionary. So once it comes inside, maybe I'll be using a temporary dictionary here. So once all the keys are updated, we'll store that information in this temporary dictionary. So that is the reason I am creating this temporary dictionary. And then inside this, we'll be using one more for loop. So we'll loop all the keys and values for a particular dictionary. So first dictionary, all the keys and values will loop it. Second dictionary, all the keys and values will loop it one by one inside it. So these are the items which is nothing but a key and value. So inside this dictionary, we are going to update key with a Sony. So we can use this updated dictionary. Okay, so we need to give Sony. Sony is the updated key we need to give. If I give only Sony, a duplicate value will not be accepted. So along with that, what I will do, I will just concat key as well. So key, you cannot concat a integer value. So 1, 2, 3 are integer values. So we cannot concat integer values. So we'll convert it to a string and we'll concat it. Okay, so this will be updated and we'll get the respective value for that. So once each and every key is updated with the respective Sony 1, Sony 2, Sony 3 and all, so we can give all these dictionaries back to the list. So for that, maybe we'll be creating a temporary list. Okay, so this is the temporary list I have created. Now we'll take this temporary list. Okay, so to this, I will just append all the dictionary values that we have updated. Okay, so once this is done, we can print it. And let's see the output. Okay, now in this way, we can see we are getting Sony 1, Sony 2, Sony 3 and all. So because we are concatenating Sony with a string key. So for Sony, 1 will be added. For Sony, 2 will be added. For Sony, 3 will be added. In case if I'm not concatenating this, I'm simply trying to give Sony. So it cannot take duplicate values here. So it will try to take only one time. So if I run this code, now see here, Sony, for the first dictionary, we are getting only one key value pair. Second dictionary also we are getting one key value pair and so on. So in this way, by using this program, we can do some workaround. We'll get the expected output. That's all for this video. Please like the video and also share with your friends who are attending interviews. It will be helpful for them as well.